Hello, software lovers. This year we have started a new initiative, interviews with software development experts and software communities leaders. And today we have a pleasure to have David Bonilla, founder of Manfred and famous newsletter Bonillista. David has been developing software for almost 2 decades, occupying positions along the entire software value chain, but he believes the role where his skills and needs of most companies match is the ability to get the best performance out of a team and build remarkable digital assets. Hi, David. Thank you for making it today. We are really excited to have this interview with you. So please, could you share with us your expertise and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, Katerina. Yes, I have a technical background. I have been working in the IT industry for more than 20 years. I started as developer, and I have been, I don't know, tech lead, CTO, CEO. I found some companies. I sold some companies. A lot of roles, but mostly every year, I work on building these digital assets, services or products, but always, around internet and the online scene.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say about 2020? What have you learned? What was your biggest highlight from last year?
Oh, from the last year or from COVID, you mean?
No, from last year.
Last year, it was a very strange year, because, IT was huge as ever, but in the last quarters, we started to see some strange things, like a lot of layoffs in big tech and things like that. From my point of view, but it doesn't matter. I mean, software is still eating the world, and technology is advancing and conquering, new territories. So at least for me, was another step, in the growth of software development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, we have seen that as well. This change that tech industry is going through right now. It's so unpredictable. Let's see how it evolves, but it's like every day we receive news, receive new articles, and you never know what will happen tomorrow. So
No,
let's see.
No, but if you have some kind of perspective, for example, in terms of layoff, if you compare, the hiring of this big tech before COVID and right now, I mean, yes,
Mhm.
they have some kind of layoffs, but it's peanuts, compared with the people they hired in the past, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So I think that we are still adjusting after 2019 and 2020. The industry, the sector is still growing a lot.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say about inflation rates and salaries in general this year? Do you believe like they will increase or decrease or stay the same? What are your predictions? Also based on Manfred data, if
Well,
it's if you can talk about it.
no, absolutely. We're super transparent. I think that we're always talking about two different worlds. On one hand, you have startups, all these companies with a lot of venture capital steroids, a lot of money beyond the business model. And they are still hiding a lot. And it's something that you can't stop because, all this venture capital rose a lot of money from some investors, and they have to invest in the next 4 or 5 years, so they can stop to invest in new startups. And all these startups are still hiring. But these salaries are based on, offer demand, not in a business model. On the other hand, you have all these services, IT services and consultancy companies, and obviously they are attached to the price of hourly fee. And so there, the customers are trying, to cut cost because inflation, because the economic situation is not very good. So in this kind of jobs, we expect some kind of stabilization in terms of salaries. Not a lot. I mean, not the same salaries because inflation was so high. For example, in Spain was 5.7. That even if you have a rise of 6, well, your salary will remain the same. So we expect some kind of rises, but not a lot. And on the other hand, again, well, you have all these wall of Google, Netflix, Amazon, and probably there you will see more uh, common sense salaries because the total compensation there was incredible high. I mean, talking about 6 figures with stock and a lot of stuff. And probably, well, first because the economic situation, and second because people are moving from San Francisco to other zones, cheaper zones. Probably you will see that the salaries will go a little bit down, but not a lot. I mean, not a lot. They are still demanding a lot of people.
Well, thank you for sharing. Very, very useful information. I'm sure our followers will love to know your opinion about it. And coming back to Manfred, actually, lately we see Manfred everywhere. You participate in a lot of events like Global Software Architecture Summit in Barcelona and a lot of events in Madrid. As a product, we see like you constantly launch new features and new, let's say, services. So could you tell us a little bit more about Manfred and about your about your plans for this year?
Yeah, sure. I'm a product guy. I love product management and digital products. So I know that Manfred is a service, but we are still trying to build a scalable product, even if we are providing recruiting services. So what we want to do is, I mean, our challenge is our users, candidates, don't use us at all. I mean, because everybody in the IT industry have an employment right now. So the challenge for us is what we can't provide to them, which kind of value we can provide to them, even if they are not looking for a new job. And this is what we are building. So instead of building stuff around the job positions, or when you are looking for a new job, we are trying to build a kind of platform to manage your whole professional career. So for example, in terms of react to a new job position, what we are trying to do is studying each profile, each CV, each resume, and try to explain to them, hey, which is the next step that you want to make, in your career, the next thing that you want to do, and let's see what you need to do that. So because we have tons of data, we can provide to our candidates things like, hey, we are going to benchmark your salary. You are below or above the market. Hey, if you want to go there, if you want to be a Caterina, for example, because your profile is public, and now you are here, you should study this stuff, this thing. You should get these soft skills. You should get these hard skills, whatever. But because we have all this data, what we want to give to them is this kind of information about what you want to become instead of what are you right now. And this is what we are building right now.
Wow, very interesting, and I think very helpful. All right. And regarding Bonilista, we are, let's say, loyal followers, and we constantly receive this very interesting newsletters. But we were wondering how it all started. What was the main idea behind it, and also what are your plans? Is it let's say, does it come from your heart and soul? This is like you started as a hobby and then it converted to something that huge and impactful. Please tell us more about it.
Yeah, I had no plans for Bonilista at all. I just started that in 2011
Mm-hmm.
when newsletters were not trendy at all, and people didn't understand what I did because, well, they say, well, but if you want us to write, you have a blog, and blogs were hot, in 2011. Why do you want to use a newsletter? It's so old and so old-fashioned, makes no sense. But I wanted to write something, more, I don't know, more personal, because I use my professional blog to write about technical stuff, how to, I don't know, deploying one server and things like that. And I wanted to write about what I thought, and opinions, things like that. So I had no plans or a roadmap, for Bonilista. The growth was very organic, and my plan is to continue with this, motivation, just to write what I want to write, and what is interesting for me. It's true that now it's huge, and it's something that goes beyond a personal newsletter. I have sponsorships every week, so it's more professional. The TarugoConf, the professional conference that I host every year, started from the Bonilista as a kind of community event, and now it's huge with more than 2,000 attendees per year. And even Manfred started from there because, well, what I saw was that the companies were paying to announce one job position in the Bonilista, even if they had to wait for months, to be announced there. So it was like a kind of good market research about what was happening, in the IT industry. So the plan is to continue to write the newsletter if I can, and it's hard, because it's weekly, and I try to write something new and original each week. With two kids, it's complicated, but I'm doing my best.
But please do, because the content is really great and it's different. It feels like it's personal. It feels that it's you behind the
It is.
newsletter.
It is.
And coming back to the event, could you tell us more about it? And do you have any plans to organize it again in 2023?
Yeah, again, the TarugoConf was an event that was unplanned. The idea was when we got 5,000 subscribers in the newsletter. Now we are beyond 17,000, more or less. But when we got 5,000, the idea was to celebrate this achievement with some kind of, I don't know, dinner, or casual meetup or whatever. And I just announced that, hey, we can meet if you want. And Google Campus just call me and say, hey, if you want to organize something, you can do this in the Google Campus. They have some kind of room with capacity for 150 people,
In
and
Madrid, right?
in Madrid. And my first idea was, you are crazy. I think that it's too big for us. And I say, no, we think that you are wrong and that you underestimate your capacity, to gather people. So we create the event, and suddenly more and more people express that they wanted to come. When we start to sell the tickets, I mean, I think that we sold every ticket in like 2 minutes. Was crazy. And well, we tried to host the event that we want to attend. That's the idea behind the TarugoConf. So because we have so many technical conference about the what, the tooling, the software, but not so many events or not so many talks about why we are doing that. The rationale or even the philosophy behind our work, because, well, in IT, when you develop software, you know that you have a huge impact, in the life of so many people. We try to do this, to talk about everything related with the software industry, with the
Mhm,
software development, not only about tooling, or technique or coding. No,
mhm,
there are a lot of more stuff there, and that's it that will come. So you can attend one talk about, I don't know, APIs, or
mhm,
about the business, or about ethic, for example.
mhm, mhm,
And we try to do our best also with every aspect of the event, from food. Well, the food is cooked there, and it's completely fresh,
mhm,
and organic, up to, I don't know, goodies, for example. So each year we produce original items, for example, tabletop games and things like that. So that's the idea, to do something special
mhm.
every year.
And where do you organize it?
Until now, Madrid, and during COVID, we host the event online.
Mhm,
Uh, we transform the event in some kind of TV show, live TV show for 6 hours.
mhm,
And for this year, we're thinking about hosting the event in a different place, probably in Galicia. We have no idea if this makes sense, because you know that at least in Spain, everything is organized in Madrid or Barcelona,
mhm, mm.
and it's risky, to do something different, and far from these two big cities. But I mean, if the question is that, I mean, if the only argument against that is fear, probably we will do it.
So
So let's see.
sure. Actually, we have our team members in La Coruña.
Awesome.
So if you need volunteers and you need help, you can count on us. We really
Okay.
love participating in events, so definitely we would be in.
Awesome.
Okay, and continuing with 2023, what are the software development topics that interest you the most this year?
Oh, interesting. Right now, I'm very interested in development experience.
Mhm,
Uh, I realized that my developers, were working with not bad tooling, but with horrible processes
mhm,
that they needed, to stop a lot of times. It was a nightmare, to deploy everything locally. It was a nightmare. So when I realized how they were working, I freak out. Like, I can't believe it. And because of that, right now we are super focused on that. And I think that is also a hot topic for the whole industry, because development has become so complicated sometimes, with, well, you have the cloud, you have distributed databases, you have APIs, you have a front that is reactive usually, so it's not so easy as it was in the good old times, that, well, this was my monolith, and it was easy to deploy locally or in production. And I think that we should stop a little bit and think, hey, how I want to work, my experience day by day to be productive. How can I do that? How can I deploy more and more and more times? How can I deploy and not wait, for 20 minutes building the application and all that stuff? So I think that is a hot topic, because more and more and more people are concerned, about the time that they invest in all this building cycle, and it's something that is very interesting for me.
mhm. Thank you. And about books, I don't know, like with two kids and so many initiatives that you are into, I'm not sure if you have time for books, but if, what books would you recommend to your peers?
Business or about tech?
Both.
Oh,
Books that actually impacted you.
the last book that I read and impact me was Your First 90 Days. and it was like about, hey, if you are going to start a new job, it doesn't matter if it's in management or in technology. It doesn't matter if it's in a startup or in a big corp or whatever. What should you do in your first 90 days to make an impact, to move the needle? This was awesome. And about technology, let me see the last book that I read. Interesting. I don't know if it's. I think it was this. This was the last book that I read. I don't know if it's very technological related, but it's the art of leadership, and it's very good.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Actually, I haven't read these books, but I will add them to
Awesome.
my to-do list. And what are your favorite software development events?
Obviously, TarugoConf, my event. What can I say? And locally or in Spain, I would say probably TechFest, because it's community oriented and you can meet a lot of people. And globally, it could be MicroConf, that is about entrepreneurship, but for bootstrappers, and about coding. I don't know, probably some conference like Java Zone or devops, related with backend developer, development and Java. That was my language. But I don't know if I have a favorite one.
Okay, and do you go like abroad to tech conferences and events on a regular basis, or you participate more in, let's say, local events?
Good question. I prefer to participate in local events, but I think that the world changed with COVID. At least in my world, everything stopped. And I think that until now, we're still recovering from that. You can see that the communities are still lazy, or concerned about meeting again. So I think that right now everything is just restarting, and I'm trying, to go to every local meetup or whatever. And I definitely prefer that bigger events. But right now, I mean, the reality check is that I attend more big events than local events, and I used to. I mean, if they invite me to go there and speak or whatever, or if I find something interesting, I used to travel and go there. But definitely, I prefer local ones.
Okay, nice. And one question right now, like thinking, one of our team members, he just moved from Budapest to La Coruña, and he was asking me, could you recommend any like software community in La Coruña? And I was like, hey, wait, I will speak with David, and for sure he will give us some information regarding it. What community or what meetups like would you recommend to him?
Well, you can find some of them, in Coruña, but I definitely recommend to follow Startup Galicia, because at least from my point of view, I mean, I'm not only interested in, I don't know, coding, but in every aspect, of software development and product development. And with Startup Galicia, you can attend one talk about how to develop and sell video games. For example, this week we host one local meetup about this, or about front-end development or whatever. So if they want to meet people with the same interest, and with different approaches to software development, I completely recommend to follow or to join Startup Galicia.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And what are your favorite software development blogs or vlogs that you constantly follow or that you believe, make a difference?
To be completely transparent, the only thing that I regularly follow, or that I follow in a regular basis is Reddit and developer or development jokes. Um, this is the channel. I just read Twitter. I mean, Twitter is an incredible information source,
Mhm,
and Hacker News. What you can see there, in the top histories or top stories of Hacker News, but not a specific blog or a news website. For news, I have Twitter, and
mhm,
some technical accounts, and Hacker News.
mm. Good point. And talking about Twitter, what software development experts would you recommend to follow, or pages that you believe give you valuable information on a regular basis?
Uh, I love to follow John Carmack, the creator of Doom and
Mhm,
Quake, that was working in Meta, until like 1 month.
mhm,
And in terms of the Spanish community, a lot of people, for example, Jerónimo López,
mhm,
Jerolba, Twitter, my pal, my friend, and probably one of the best developers that I ever met.
mhm. Okay, thank you. And what are the key software development insights you could share?
Wow. Um,
Big question.
no, I mean, probably when you talk with developers, they are usually they are always focus on technology,
Mhm,
and I'm more interested on productivity or value, given to your customers or to your users. So probably is the most valuable thing that I can explain to younger developers, or
mhm,
with less experience, is that you think that technology is the goal and technology is just the tool,
mhm,
so you should focus on providing value. And because of that, it's very important, to learn the domain where you're working.
mhm,
When I started to develop, in the development industry, I thought that the most important thing was to control, to understand, to learn all the technologies. And I didn't focus on things like banking, or payroll or whatever, because they were so boring for me, and I thought that it was not part of my job. Now I have realized that it's part of my job, to understand all these different functional domains, and that learning these domains provide a lot of value when you are coding,
mhm,
because questions, about what you are doing and how you can improve that, only come, when you understand what you're doing. So this is
mhm.
my suggestion, to go beyond the code.
Sure. Nice recommendation. And what would you like to improve, discover this year?
What I want to improve in terms of what? Sorry.
Yeah, like this year, what would you like to improve, or what would you like to discover or learn something new?
Okay, it's very personal, but I am trying to learn how to code mods for Minecraft. Uh, I told you, I
Okay.
told you, I told you it was very personal, but I will explain why. The point is that I want to teach how to develop or development to my little daughter.
Mhm,
She's just 10, and she's in love with Minecraft, and she wants to develop some kind of mod, for the game. So working on that, working on mods for Minecraft, it's an opportunity,
mhm,
to work with her, and actually it's very funny. I mean, it's funny to teach her how to develop, but also it's great in terms of learning to understand how they make Minecraft hackable, is something that you can apply directly to your own development, and it's very interesting and very funny. We have a start like 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm learning a lot. I'm very, very interested.
What a motivation. I feel you. Okay, thank you very much, David, for this interview, for sharing all this valuable information. It was truly a pleasure have you here with us, and we hope to see you very soon, face to face, somewhere in Spain or abroad.
Hopefully. I hope so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For